What's up, everybody, man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla Kong Supernova news and updates. Today we've got some of the most highly anticipated MonsterVerse figures of probably all time to talk about. Some figures that people have been begging for over half a decade are finally they're finally real, they're finally here. And we're also going to be talking about Godzilla and Kong heading to the Grand Canyon for an epic showdown or something. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another Godzilla news and updates. Today, it's your turn. You gotta do it. Hype the video. Once again, like the video, hype the video, new feature. You better do it. I will go into an Orca Z-induced rage, destroying Apex factories until rewrites change the trajectory of my arc, and I no longer do any of that unless you hype the video. So hype it. Starting out with some artwork like always, this first piece comes to us from Ratboy Mickey, and it is Kong with the axe, looking sick. I really like this one. I love the axe here. I love the energy coming off of it, so I wanted to show this off. I thought this was very cool. This next one comes to us from Mechagodzilla 3, and it is Godzilla versus King Ghidorah in Boston. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm a huge fan of King of the Monsters artwork, and I had to show this off. Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah looks fantastic here. One little detail that I really love about it, which kind of goes along with something I just talked about in my last Godzilla the Ride Great Clash video, is if you look at Godzilla's spines, it's like smoke is coming out of them. It looks like Godzilla's got so much energy from charging up that smoke's pouring out of him, which is something I think we should see more of in movies. I just think it's really cool. Tom.Arts made this awesome Godzilla X Superman crossover artwork with Godzilla fighting the kaiju and Superman while Superman flies in to save the day. I love this so much. I loved Superman. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I think Superman's great. The kaiju in that movie was great. I would love to see Godzilla fight the thing, and I think it's a lot of fun. Just a very, very cool crossover artwork here. This is one of the most creative and fun things I've seen come out of this community in a very long time. This animation was done by Verno. It's amazing. Verno has done others before. Verno previously did Godzilla Invades King Kong 1933, which I don't think I've seen, but for now, Verno added Kong to Godzilla 1954. They've colorized sort of some footage from 1954 Godzilla, which already looks cool, and then Kong shows up, and through VFX they've animated Kong interacting with the environments. He's running through the cityscapes. They've added their own Godzilla to the scenes, so Godzilla's reacting to Kong. I love it. There's so many little things that I think are so impressive and amazing in this. One of my favorite moments is this moment where Kong peeks out from around part of the Diet building. I love the moment where Godzilla kicks Kong and he falls onto that guard tower. There's also this great moment where Kong flies into this building and it crumbles down upon him. This is some truly impressive VFX animation here. It's a very funny video. I also really love that it's honestly very heartwarming and touching at the end when Tsuburaya shows up. E.G. Tsuburaya expresses his love for King Kong, obviously was an enormous King Kong fan, was highly inspired by King Kong when making Godzilla 54, and even Godzilla sheds a tear at it. Even the end, the outro, where Godzilla comes home and he's at home with Emiko and he's got his dog Anguirus, it's just incredibly well done VFX. This whole thing is so great. I love when the community gets incredibly creative like this. I thought that this one was so much fun. I could not shout it out more. Please go show it some love if you haven't already. Go check it out down below. All links in the description below, as are chapter times. Let's jump into the rest. Vix Monstrosity shared with me something that I'm not sure I've ever covered before. If I did, I totally forgot about this, but this was a Monarch MonsterVerse badge that was shared at LA Comic-Con all the way back in 2019. You can see there's a couple variations of it here. I think it glows in the dark, glows green in the dark or something. Very cool. It's obviously the hourglass is already cool enough. It's got the Monarch logo in there and the new MonsterVerse logo. It's very neat overall. I do not remember those things, but it's sick, so I had to show that off. Now it is time for figure news, and there's so many great figures. First of all, a charged up version of the Bandai Movie Monster series Godzilla Evolved is finally upon us. This is the glowing special edition Godzilla. He's got pink energy coursing through him, and I believe the spines are translucent now, whereas the originals were not. I have reviewed the original Bandai Movie Monster series Godzilla Evolved on the channel. Go check that video out, but for now, this looks fantastic. I think it looks really cool. Next up, my buddy Kaiju Canuck. Please go check him out, show him some love. Again, link in the description below. Kaiju Canuck was on the ground, boots on the ground at San Diego Comic-Con 2025 and brought us exclusive coverage of the Haya booth. Haya is coming to bat. Hey guys, update on a previous video. I had mentioned my frustrations with Haya as I've ordered 3 Haya figures that I probably should have by now. Godzilla Evolved, still don't have him. I don't have him. I don't know where he is. He still hasn't arrived to me yet. Kong without the beast glove, Kong with the axe. I still don't have him. I don't know where he is, but I don't have him. And Shimo. I finally got the Shimo, so I can open that up. It's the first Haya figure I'll ever open on the channel, so I finally have a Haya figure to open with you guys. But what the heck are we doing, Haya? What are we doing? Where's my other figures? I'm actually going a little crazy about it. Otherwise, Haya is coming to bat. Their upcoming lineup is incredible. They've got a Godzilla 1999, which looks awesome. A Godzilla, I believe this is 1989 Heat Ray version. That looks great. Could be 91 as well. I couldn't quite tell, but it looks very good. Godzilla 2002, Burning Godzilla 1995. Very cool. A Monster X, which is the one I'm the most excited about. That is so freaking sick. I cannot believe they're doing that. That is so cool. Never thought we'd get a really high quality articulated Monster X like this. And King Ghidorah 1991 battle version with a giant hole in his wing where Godzilla's blasting him. Very cool. Also, they have an updated King Ghidorah 2019 2.0. This is a special color variant of King Ghidorah 2.0 that looks fantastic. I believe it comes with some gravity beam effects as well. Very sick. They've got a Scylla. Yes, they have this Scylla, which is another one I've ordered that I'm sure I'll never get at the rate Haya is going, but Scylla is going to be great. They've got a Scar King. I cannot wait. Having a highly articulated Scar King, which is very high quality like this, is so dope. He looks great. He comes with so many swappable accessories, which is super cool. A Shimo with Scar King, which is pretty neat, where Scar King can actually ride the Shimo. That's very cool. I believe this is part of their like non-articulated line, like a statue line, which is very neat. These look great. And then the stuff that it is finally time. It's finally time for. First of all, there's a Kong with the beast glove, which was like, why couldn't that have come with the regular Kong to begin with, the one with the axe? I guess just so that they could sell multiple toys, but it would have been really nice if Kong came with the axe and the beast glove. That would have been really nice. But they revealed a freaking Warbat. It's so cool. I cannot believe it. It looks like it's got a bendy wire tail that is able to support the weight of the figure. As you can see on display here, it stands very well. It looks so sick. He's got an articulated head so his mouth can roar, which is awesome. The wings are fantastic. I'm willing to bet they're also kind of bendy wire-ish, kind of flexible, so you can pose them how you want. The tail you can curve to your desire, and it can also support its own weight. It is fantastic. I cannot believe we've waited this long. Since 2021, we're finally getting one of these things, and it doesn't stop there. Behemoth is finally here. We're getting an exquisite basic Behemoth. This appears to have articulation on it. The sculpt looks really nice on this guy. The face looks so good, so detailed. The tusks look fantastic with so much detailing in them as well. He's got those big arms, like I said, multiple joints of articulation. It's gonna be so awesome. We're finally, after since 2019, getting an articulated Behemoth. Are you kidding me? It's been so long. I cannot believe how long we've waited for this. And then we're getting an articulated Tiamat. Highly articulated, highly detailed Tiamat. She's able to support her own weight with her tail alone. She can twist around. She looks fantastic. I actually really like the Playmates Tiamat as well, so it's gonna be nice to have these. These all should, generally be speaking, be around the $51 mark, which is where Haya excels at. Linked below as well, I've got many HD pictures of these things, which I've been showing off throughout the video. And to my surprise, despite the fact that Behemoth is one we've been asking for since 2019 and has a very dedicated and excited fan base, it actually seems the Warbat was the figure people were most excited about on Twitter, which is pretty interesting to me. The mobile app Doomsday Last Survivor had a collaboration with Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. So they revealed their Godzilla poster, first of all. People were kind of clowning on the Godzilla design. I'm not sure if it's AI generated like some people seem to think. I guess it could be. If it is, that's disappointing. I think it's fairly cool. I'm not entirely sure what people are picking up on to think it's AI, but AI is getting so detailed and so advanced these days that it is getting pretty tough for me to tell. I would say this does look to have some suspiciously AI generated qualities, such as how sharp it is, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, you guys. They also revealed the Godzilla in the game, which looks pretty neat here. I don't know what this game is. I know Dangerville had some major criticism of it being a fairly predatory game, which is obviously something I'm not supportive of and not a fan of. I don't know why everything needs to collaborate with everything these days other than money, but it does kind of dilute the status of your IP when you let it collaborate with everything, including really low quality products. And it sounds like Doomsday Last Survivor is not a game people are big fans of. There's There's a Kong poster as well. Pretty neat. Again, I actually think the Kong poster is pretty cool. He looks pretty sick here, even with the Beast Glove. Is that the Twin Tower in the background? Is that the North Tower? I do think it is, which is very bizarre. Is that in Doomsday Last Survivor? Is this another instance of it being AI generated? Is this a reference to King Kong 1976? Not sure. What's up with that? Don't know. There is the Godzilla and Kong poster. I like the idea of Godzilla and Kong appearing in a zombie apocalypse game. That's pretty fun. That's cool. The poster itself is pretty neat with Godzilla and Kong taking on the zombie swarms here. There's a trailer for it as well, which features some pretty cool moments where Kong jumps out. He does a very similar attack on the ground to when he beats the snot out of Godzilla in Egypt, throwing all the zombies around. Godzilla stomps into battle again, recreating some moments from the New Empire, and then uses atomic breath to blast some zombies around. So overall, fairly cool trailer here, Godzilla and Kong in the zombie apocalypse. I do not think the game itself lives up to the quality here. Also, kind of interesting that the ending of the trailer seems to place them in what looks like a mix of New York City and also Tokyo. It looks like you can see Tokyo Station behind King Kong, which is actually where they took down Shin Godzilla. I've linked down below concept art is Dean Schaefer's Godzilla Kong the New Empire art collection. You can go check it out. One thing that's really kind of uncanny about what Dean Schaefer does is he takes images, it seems, from the movies or renders of the actual characters and photoshops them into his artwork. So like this first one of the Kong Gia finger touch has been online for a while, but it's this very, very high quality render of Kong, but then the backgrounds are not as high quality, you know, because they're obviously concept art. So it's just showing generally what that setting might look like in the movie. I only bring that up because it's got this like uncanny valley where Kong looks so hyper real and the backgrounds don't, that it's always like it's like we're looking at an alternate universe of the movie. It's pretty neat. You can actually see the background Kong was supposed to do the finger touch in was like very rainbowish, which we do see a little bit in Hollow Earth when Kong and Zuko are at the lake. There's some concept art showing Kong and Zuko crossing the giant skeleton bridge, which is very neat as well. I love the purple lava falls. I wish that we actually got to see stuff like that in the movie with the purple energy all over the place. The purple lava falls are very cool to me. We've got some Hollow Earth Outpost Station number 1 destruction concept art, which is very neat. It appears, based on this concept art, that at the very least, something was supposed to be contained in between the pyramids here. If you look, it seems that Gia was supposed to climb the pyramid and reach up towards what appears to be a giant either egg or cocoon where Mothra was housed. You can see that it's webbed in between the pyramids, which is very cool. It could even be Mothra wrapped around herself, with her wings wrapped around herself, or it could be the original Titan, which was supposed to appear here, Phosphora. No matter what it is, I'm much more in favor of this than Gia reaching her hand up and Mothra materializing out of golden dust. I'm just not the biggest fan of that. Watch my Godzilla-thon review for more on that. Don't need to spend more time on that, but I would have loved for there to be a literal physical thing in the middle that Gia awakens. There's some collapsing gravity concept art, which looks very cool. We can see some concept art of the Beast Glove being put on, which shows it was supposed to be assembled piece by piece rather than all at once. Rest in peace, Kong looks so knocked out there. There's some concept art of Kong. It appears losing his axe as a chasm opens in the ground. This might have been the original sequence in which Kong discovers the subterranean realm. Maybe the ground was supposed to split apart with him standing there and he drop the axe down and jump in there after it, or maybe he loses it there and that's why he doesn't have it for a lot of the movie. Concept art reveals the original Trapper tooth sequence where Trapper's doing dentistry on Kong. You can see Trapper has a bit of a different costume here with a cowboy hat looking a bit more like Clint Eastwood. There's some concept art of what appears to be a destroyed heave in Hollow Earth and a hazmat team approaching. This very well could have been our main characters exploring the remains of Outpost 1, including a destroyed heave there. That heave does look like the ones from Godzilla vs. Kong, or it could have been wreckage from Godzilla vs. Kong itself, although I would think more likely it was our main characters exploring the wreckage of Outpost 1 upon Scar King's attack. We have some alternate concept art of the Iwi Temple, which looks very cool, both concept art of the Wide Temple, which actually looks to be very faithfully adapted into the movie, and then a close-up of the characters walking through it. We have some concept art of Kong inside the Crystal Cavern with the skeletons of the other Kongs. One thing that's not really explored in the movie is why the Kongs are dead there. Is that where Godzilla originally trapped them? Or what are they doing there? I've never thought about that before, but why are the Kongs there in this boneyard within the Hollow Earth? I don't know, but it's a cool image of Kong standing there. Just some concept art of the pyramids and the Hollow Earth Temple. We have a couple of those showing the different Iwi village layouts, including one that I think is actually a lot cooler, where it shows that there's a whole city built around the pyramids themselves. And then my favorite concept art from Dean Schafer for The New Empire, which I'm really truly sad didn't make its way into the final film. Concept art of the Iwis leading us through the Hollow Earth, and it's this beautiful alien environment with these beautiful bioluminescent plants. Looks straight out of Avatar. I would have loved that. It would have made certain areas in Hollow Earth feel a lot more foreign to us, feel a lot more alien, feel a lot more magical. It would have looked gorgeous. It's got that Adam Wingard neon flare. I'm sure they avoided it because it's too similar to Avatar, but hey guys, sometimes it's worth borrowing from other franchises when it's this beautiful and cool. It could have been really neat, and it would have really amplified our feeling that this is a brand new realm in the Hollow Earth when they go to the Iwi village. It would have been really cool. As for Godzilla Kong Supernova, English Sly, who is one of our camera department members on crew for Godzilla Kong Supernova, revealed that they were shooting with IMAX lenses for the new movie. Some new Panavision IMAX lenses. That confirms that at least some sequences in Supernova will be shot in IMAX. Of course, massive sequences for Godzilla Kong The New Empire were shot in IMAX. A lot of the VFX sequences were done in IMAX. It was actually the first MonsterVerse film with sequences shot for IMAX rather than optimized for IMAX, and it's very cool to see that it appears some of Supernova will also be shot for IMAX. Gives it a much bigger scope right off the bat. It's very cool. I'm all for that. A video surfaced online showing some trucks transporting Monarch vehicles towards set. This video shows a truck driving past this car on the street. They've got a Monarch military like Jeep Humvee thing on the back, and then they've got this giant Monarch military transport shuttle which could house multiple people. That reminds me a lot of the scene in Godzilla King of the Monsters when we see the Monarch vehicles driving through Arizona and then Scylla's legs erupt through the ground, which is important because that is going to be the setting of this for sure. The last time we visited Arizona in the MonsterVerse was Phoenix, Arizona, because Scylla awoke in Sedona, Arizona, and then traveled to Phoenix and attacked downtown Phoenix. This was of course in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Jumping forward to the Supernova teaser reveal, we see that our main Monarch character, whoever's desk this is, Caitlin Dever's character, gets an alert from Sedona, Arizona. Is it related to Scylla? Could be, maybe. I doubt it though, but it's an interesting connection nonetheless. I do believe that that's where we're headed, back to Sedona, Arizona and beyond, as a Utah board went into great detail about Godzilla Kong Supernova's filming happening locally. I've got that thing linked down below. It's incredibly long, like 4+ hours. About 48 minutes in, they start talking about Godzilla Kong Supernova, and this was part of a Grand County Commissions meeting. They discussed all the local productions happening in Utah. They then begin discussing Godzilla Kong Supernova, calling the production Zeus, which of course on the channel we're all up to date. If you're not, go check out my playlist of GXK Supernova news and updates. Zeus is the working title for Godzilla Kong Supernova. They describe it as an upcoming feature film blockbuster that is on the ground in Moab. A location manager joins and speaks about Godzilla Kong. They state that it started as a second unit who was going to come to Utah in order to shoot some VFX background plates that would become environments used for VFX sequences where they would add elements in post. This happened a ton for Godzilla Kong The New Empire. Lots of the movie was shot in second unit basically, where they just captured landscapes and then implement them into sequences like Godzilla jumping off the Gibraltar Rock, you know, background sequences like that, or Godzilla's fight with Scylla in Rome. This evolved into a full-on first unit shoot with a massive team coming out to film major sequences. This actually happened after the location scouting crew fell in love with the location, the environments, and the city itself. It's one of the largest productions seen in Utah in at least a few years, and it was scouted all the way back in December 2024, so they've been in the works on Supernova for a long time. This included scouting on a boat, so it seems like they were on a boat on a river, and that's going to come into play later. The crew landed for filming on July 16th, 2025. This was unfortunately the only US location filmed for Godzilla Kong Supernova. All the rest of the filming for Supernova happened in Australia, Mexico City, London, Mumbai, and Moab. Moab being the only US location. Of course, we've covered a lot of the filming that did happen in Australia. Go check out my other GXK Supernova videos for info on that. A lot of the filming seemed to transform the streets of Australia into the streets of London. We also know in the other MonsterVerse films that they used Australia as locations all over the globe. So filming in Australia doesn't really mean anything other than that's where the primary shooting for the film happened, and it could be a stand-in for anywhere on Earth. Mexico City I find pretty interesting. We haven't heard much about that up until now. So Mexico City seems like that could be a location they're actually traveling in the movie, as they're going to that specific city for a reason. London London seems very telling, considering a lot of us were already speculating a big sequence would happen in London, especially because of the way they were doing set deck in Australia. So it seems they're going to get actual location filming done in London as well. I would assume that doubles down on confirming that's going to be the location for the final battle, as you're getting lots of filming done in places outside of the city and inside of the city, meaning it's going to be a major set piece. This is kind of like in Godzilla 2014, how the bulk of the San Francisco shooting actually happened up in Canada, mostly in Vancouver, and then some of the filming did happen on the streets in San Francisco, but barely any. Mumbai I also find very interesting. I'm not sure what this could be used for, but based on the layout of the city, looking it up, and I'm not sure how long they filmed there, part of me wonders if it's going to be for a quicker sequence, much like Godzilla's battle with Scylla in Rome in the New Empire. As for Moab, we actually do have confirmation here. It's not going to be Moab in the movie. They were originally going to film the Grand Canyon. This was supposed to be a Grand Canyon sequence, but Moab was selected due to its Grand Canyon-esque landscapes and because the crew loved the town itself, the town of Moab, which is now also going to be featured in the film as a location in Arizona. They'll also be shooting in Fossil Point. They'll shoot at a river and they'll shoot at a gas station north of the town of Moab. 71 extras will be involved. Main Street off Highway 109 was selected for filming on July 30th. Cars and extras will be involved in this sequence. They were not able to get a helicopter for aerial shots, but they do have drones coming in to film aerial shots. And these sequences will involve extras running through the streets in chaos. This will be a shoot that happens in early morning all the way through the afternoon, and then they'll be moving to a second location on July 30th. As for the town of Moab itself, the filming happening in the town of Moab itself, I'm thinking that this could easily just be like chaos happening in the streets, people running away, much like the Rio scenes when people were running from monsters. It could have been anywhere as well there. Kind of also reminds me of like when they filmed in that small town in California for Godzilla 2014. Filming in Moab and Fossil Point, standing in for the Grand Canyon, I find very interesting. This is a conspiracy theory that I'm coming up with on the spot right now. It almost has no basis other than that Matthew Modine, one of the lead actors for the movie, kind of teased a couple monsters a few months ago, which I've already talked about on the channel. He teased Mothra. He teased, obviously, Space Godzilla was the big one, and he also teased Rodan. The Grand Canyon itself gives me the vibe of Mount Aso from Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. That's where Rodan was resting, is where he reawakens. He bursts through the mountain there. That's where he's like rebirthed from. There's no correlation other than that it's a big rocky divot, but part of me is really hoping we get a sequence of Rodan flying through the Grand Canyon. I would love for, Rodan isn't there. He's in Fiji right now, nesting in a volcano, so I don't know what he'd be doing in Moab or the Grand Canyon. I don't think Godzilla and Kong are gonna fight in the Grand Canyon. It's possible, like, they could do a battle there. It's possible. It would kind of, it's kind of a barren landscape for a final battle, and it seems the final battle is going to happen in London. So I'm thinking it's going to be earlier in the movie. Could be where Space Godzilla or Space Monster lands or something. It could land there. Or it could be a place, but it's because it's like a deserty area. It's because it's warm. It's because it's orangish that I associate it with Rodan. It's because of that scene in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. And it's because I think it'd be cool to see a big chase scene going through the Grand Canyon where Rodan's flying through the canyon itself. He's the only one that could traverse it in a fast enough speed for it to be interesting on screen. It's a cool place. We've never seen monsters interact with it before, at least to my knowledge in these kaiju films. I think it'd be sick. So I'm hoping. Fingers crossed for that. That'd be super cool. What would the plot context be? I don't know. Why would he be there? I don't know. I just would like it. Part of me wants to say it could be Hollow Earth, especially the Fossil Point area, but I don't know. Fossil Point and Moab look very similar. Part of me thinks like it could be anywhere in the Hollow Earth, so who cares or who knows? But like if you're doing the Hollow Earth, most of that is purely VFX, all generated, and they have so much VFX material from the New Empire of the Hollow Earth landscapes that would we really need that? And also, would we want Hollow Earth to be like a desert area? We know that some of the movie is going to have something to do with Sedona, Arizona. We know that they're going to do a Grand Canyon scene, so it feels very much like this is all Arizona. I don't know who could be in Sedona. That's where Scylla was. Could be another Scylla awakening. Maybe they find an egg there. Another Scylla hatches and another Scylla's running around through that area. I don't know. Maybe Godzilla shows up and fights another monster in the Grand Canyon. It'd be pretty cool. But the only monster that has the speed to traverse it in a way that I think would be very epic would be Rodan. Mostly just because I want Rodan back in the MonsterVerse, and mostly just because the original movie Rodan obviously kind of appears from a valley next to a volcano. Not that there's a volcano in the Grand Canyon, but that's where Rodan appears from. And because it does the pictures of the Grand Canyon. And I've been there in person, but the memories are not specific enough for me to remember like, oh, that remind me of Rodan. The pictures I'm looking at of the Grand Canyon right now, they remind me of that Mount Aso sequence. I just want Rodan Rodan back, damn it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Godzilla and Kong are gonna fight a bad guy at the Grand Canyon. Maybe Kong is gonna leap across the Grand Canyon or something, the way he leaps across that valley in Hollow Earth. I don't know, man. Well, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Who do you think's going to the Grand Canyon? Who do you think's attacking Moab City? We getting a flashback to King of the Monsters and Scylla's awakening? I doubt it. Could be because Arizona's partially associated with like UFO activity. So maybe it's like a UFO flying through that. It could be pretty cool too. A flying saucer flying around there. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of a reason that Godzilla and Kong would go to the Grand Canyon, and I'm not thinking of much given that I truly believe the final battle will happen in London. So I don't know. It's got to be somebody there, and it's got to be somebody who can leave there. Guess it could be anything. Maybe that is where the monster lands, Space Godzilla or whoever lands there. I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts though. That is where I'll leave you for this one. As always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. It is through the support of the patrons on Patreon that I'm able to continue to do videos like this for you. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. If that's not your thing, please consider joining as a channel member. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time for the next one. D-Man, out.